Yeah, you started it. We do have Blitz Pit group play. Is that the official name? Main groups or whatever it is in the weekend. So there's 5
Yeah,
groups over the weekend. Um,
I
3
haven't really looked.
Saturday and 2 Sunday.
Yep, that's what's going on with the Blitz Pit this weekend. Are
Um,
you having to qualify? Are you in that competition somewhere?
yes, I've only been in final once and lost.
I haven't really looked because, of course, I'm straight through to the finals. So.
So we got. Is it in this row? I think it's the Group A we start with on the Saturday, right?
I think so. Yes. I mean, I'll pull that up on a different screen and just
I've found it here as
verify
well.
that
So Group A
for you
is
because
starting
I do have
11.
those details. I'm doing some casting over the weekend, and
Yes.
yeah, I was incredibly lucky in that I've won a Blitz Pit, so I do get a ticket straight to the final.
I had
Yeah,
my
it is.
funny.
It's
I had my funny dwarf Blitz Pit with 2 dwarf and 4 chaos dwarf, or how it was.
yeah, we go A to E in order. So
Okay. So
Group A
Saturday.
kicks off on the 24th at 11 UTC, so 12 o'clock human time. In obviously England, where we invented time.
So 11 UTC for people not being. Which is Hancock is streaming Diomed versus Gidenik. So that's
Yep,
Neko versus Wood Elf, and we got
but the far
UNDU.
better game is obviously being Andy Davo, legend that he is, versus Steph B. Andy Davo with the High Elves again, and Steph B with some Orcs, and that's being streamed by myself and Dionysian on Dionysian's stream. So
And nobody believes
there's a
in Steph.
hot and
Nope.
no in a prediction competition that is being run on Dio's own Discord. He is one of the top 3 picks to not qualify through the Blitz Pit. So
I think
people
I'm
think
one of
he's
the
very
few that
much
have
up
a.
against it.
I do think this division actually. I do actually think he can do it with Orcs because of the combination of teams. It's a
Yes, I
one.
mean,
It's a one Necro build. It's 2 Elf team. If he actually gets some pretty decent dice, he got sure he got the Orcs, which can be annoying for Elves.
but this is not much bigger than a NAF build, and Andy Davo is a fantastic NAF coach. I'm not sure High Elves is a great choice of race still,
Nope.
but he's just such a talented coach. If he really brings his focus, and there's been a Blitz Pit or two where I'm not entirely convinced he did, but if he really focuses on that, and of course there's $1,000 on the line, so lots of reasons to try to focus. I really see him going through. And Gdanik, obviously, it is his competition. So whilst Diomed is another very talented coach, and we shouldn't rule out Steph B, he's a decent coach too. Lots of people seem to think that Gdanik and Andy Diva will be the ones to go through from this group.
I got Nick and Steph. I do think
Okay.
because of the match, I do think the Orcs can. And I needed to find somewhere where I could score points and somebody else because everybody seemed to do the same. So I picked this one to be one of the ones where I had a chance to actually score points on people.
I confess the ones I picked, I did very much in about 5 minutes, mainly by looking at the names I knew and the races. I didn't even look at the builds.
Me neither, but Orc can. The combination
Or
of.
can.
And
They can
this
certainly
group is a
monster
good.
Andy's. They can certainly monster Andy's High Elves, but if they do, I have a feeling they're going to be up against the Wood Elves, and I would back Gdanik with Wood Elves against just about anything.
But then he either goes back playing High Elf or play a One Wolf Necro team.
Yes. Yes, Necro. I mean, One Wolf. It's not an ideal build, is it? Again, but
I don't like it. So the next group in the same day is.
Yes, this time kicking off at 1500 UTC is Group B, and the first game there will be being streamed by Eliod, and that's Random Guy 987 with Bretonians against Rick Reckless with Kislev. So there's one for game people that love their slightly odd builds. 2 builds you wouldn't normally associate with a sort of success in this kind of format. 2 builds that are quite hard to coach in a minute, I would have thought, because there's just so many things to be considered and to worry about. And that one's going to be fascinating to watch. And over on the other channel, Chug Manmilk will be casting Russie's Wood Elves against Mongloom's Undead.
By the way, Elliot got if you didn't mention it, Cruz is co-casting with Elliot.
Yes, Crucifer and Eliod.
And it's me and Chuck.
And you're sitting in with Chug.
Yeah,
Wow.
dude.
There's that's going to be an interesting couple of pairings, isn't it? Elliot and Cruz, perhaps not personality-wise that similar. And you
No,
and Chug, I think that's a match made in heaven.
we do. We have to occasionally done Blood Bowl together as well before. I very much enjoy having Chug.
Chug's a lovely fella and
Yeah.
lots of fun. And
So that
you
should
bring
be
the
a
blood,
cracking one.
and you bring a lot of Blood Bowl knowledge. So between the two of you, I think that's all bases covered. How are you seeing this group then? What are you?
I was about to say I think I got Monk Gloom and who the hell did I pick? Going looking at it now, I'm not sure. I think I picked random. Did I pick random guys last boy? I'm really unsure because
I think
looking
I
at it
picked-
again, this could go a lot of ways.
This could go a lot of ways. I picked Random Guy and Russi. Again, Random Guy, it's on the quality of the coach. Russi, it's on both the coach and the race. I know Undead are very strong. I know Mongloom to be a decent coach. Rick, I love as a human. I love him as a caster. I even enjoy his play. I think he's right up against the wall here with Kislev. I think in the time pressure, that's going to be a tough race to coach. And I think he's up against some really strong competition in this group.
Yeah, I think the breads, the heavy. I think breads is a problem for Kislev. So
I think so too.
I did have random, a random and Mongloom. I think breads is a problem. Undead is just so versatile. They're so hard to pin down. I didn't look at the builds either, which could have a difference.
It could.
But I just the undead Wood Elf is weird because it could easily go both ways. If the Mighty Blow is firing and stuff, the Wood Elf could just be decimated before they even looks around doing anything.
Yeah, I have a feeling that that whoever loses that one is going to face Rick Reckless in game 2.
And I'm not sure which Wood Elf Kislev is another weird game that can go everywhere because if Kislev is more patient than Rick was last time with Kislev, which he hopefully learned a lesson, it could be really, really interesting.
Well, I mean, I think it's going to be a cracking weekend of Blood Bowl, but as to take part in that competition, you had to pick things you thought would do well and things you thought wouldn't. I think Rick's going to struggle to be patient. That doesn't seem to be something he enjoys doing.
No,
he likes the fun plays. He likes the big plays.
Yeah,
he likes making things happen. And I think that is going to cost him again this time round.
It cost him his game against Gidenik, where Gidenik just had to sit back and wait for Rick to make a mistake and then punish him. Running out of time or not getting all moved in the right place, and then you just run past him.
Yeah, so I mean, I think that's why I went against Rick. Nothing against him as a human, slightly against the race he's picked, and slightly against that race with his personality in 1 minute. That said, of course, the exact same is true about facing Kislev with 1 minute. You know, how do you build a nice safe wall or a nice safe screen when you know they could come at you any minute? And knowing Rick, they almost certainly will.
Yeah, but the Undead as about to say, Brett has the guard to make it harder.
Yes.
Undead has the guard to make the harder as well.
And you've got to imagine both are going to be carrying on blodge pieces too. So
yeah, well, Wood Elf might actually be the team that potentially could be the weirdest one. If that goes into an open battle, that's so weird because none of the two teams can protect themselves against the other team.
Yeah, and with it only with a minute on the turns, that's going to be so open.
Yeah, so like CJ says, it's whoever makes the least mistakes is often what.
There's so many groups that look just loads and loads of fun in this competition, and then there's one that just doesn't, which we will come to. But yeah, I think this is another one that's going to really reward anyone that wants to sit down and spend a couple of hours watching some really fast, really aggressive Blood Bowl.
It's really good for watching.
You'll see it here.
Because of the time, it goes so fast. There's no time for.
Yeah.
And it's good commentating as well.
A lot less fun to take part in, I have to say.
But it's also good commentating because there's no dead space.
Yeah. No, you don't have a lot of time that you need to fill. And particularly if there's two of you on it, it's almost about, can you say the things you want to say? Not, oh my goodness, how am I going to fill these 2 minutes? Playing, though, a very different matter. I mean, I lost a Chalice final recently. And apparently I went onto Jimmy's stream straight afterwards, and people said, "Oh, PC will never come on. He'll be salty." And it's just not who I am. I don't get stressed by Blood Bowl. It's a game, and I've played enough that you and I, we don't matter. I mean, I'm never
You can
happy
be
to lose.
disappointed, and
Yeah.
you can be disappointed a bit annoyed. That's not.
I'm not going to be turning cartwheels if I've lost, but I'm also happy to talk about it. It's only a game. Slightly different with Blitz Pit, where you do when you finish, when a game ends, you just there's a big outpouring of breath, a sigh. It feels like you've breathed for the first time in half an hour, and it does sometimes take me a couple of minutes to get over that.
I have a habit of chatting with people and other stuff. I normally in my commentary chat, if anybody wants to talk.
But then you play normal Blood Bowl at 1,000,000 miles an hour anyway, don't you? I mean, you play Blitz Pit in every game you play.
Yeah, so that's fine. Elliot kept telling me to stop chatting meanwhile playing. With him on Discord. Yeah, that's the way I play anyway, so it doesn't really annoy me much.
Do we have to talk about this group? Can we just not move on?
It's the Lizard group.
Oh, I mean, this is happening. If you really, at this time of night, if you still haven't watched enough Blood Bowl, and I suspect everybody will have done, this one is on Saturday the 24th, kickoff 1900 UTC. And this is Chaos Dwarf against Lizards, and then Lizards against Lizards.
And we got Dimmy casting the top game. Casting.
Yeah. And I'm pretty certain he'll have a guest. I'm pretty certain he'll have at least one guest next to him. I know that both me and Elliot have volunteered, and it's whoever's got the energy and feels like it.
Yeah,
we'll probably join the mic a bit to make sure he's got a bit of company. So there'll probably be a second voice there too. That looks to be how most of these things are trying to go.
If it gets too boring, there might be a whole group of people talking about Group A and B instead.
Yeah, well, we'll come to Jimmy's exciting one next. So the other game is Trifific, or Trific-ic, Lizards against Rigor's Lizards, and that at least will have the extremely entertaining double of Jimmy Fantastic and Scuramezzo commentating.
It's going to be hilarious, win or lose, or whoever will happen.
Yeah, that should be fun for that reason alone. I'm not entirely sure the Blood Bowl will be. I'm not going to lie to you there.
Chaos Dwarf Lizard.
And then again, yeah, when it comes to the prediction competition on this, Genie is another person lots of people have gone against here. Lots of people have seemed to think that there's just no way Chaos Dwarves are going to get 2 wins against Lizards. Do you agree?
It's bad.
It is.
It's bad. It's not what they want. Let's put it that way.
No, I mean, Genie must have looked at this and thought, why me? There's so many races as Chaos Dwarf you don't mind being up against, and Lizard isn't on that list. They're too strong. Although theoretically, if you get your 6, yes, only 6 dwarves up into the skinks' faces, you can cause some damage. You probably can't with your bulls. You probably can't with your hobgoblins, and frankly, you're probably not going to see them because there's a wall of Sauruses and a Croxigore in the way.
And because it's Chaos Dwarf, they have a lot easier time actually protecting them because they're not fast. It's not like elves that can run around and smash them anyway.
And the flip side of that is the exact opposite, which is that you've got to try and keep your hobgoblins safe, and that's going to be very difficult. Because, yes, you've got 6 dwarves and 2 bulls, so you may start out thinking, well, I can tie up 6 Sauruses and a Croxigore. I have 8 things. They have 7. But, of course, the Crox or a Lizard has only got to take 2 of your dwarves on. You've only got to get 1 of them on the ground, and suddenly they'll get into your hobgoblins. And even if they do it with the skinks, the skinks can find a hobgoblin and gang up on it, and that can still be problematic. I'd love to think the Chaos Dwarves can do this, but they can't, and they won't. So 2 or 3 Lizards, take your pick.
Yeah, I cannot even remember. I think I've just put something in for this one. I have no clue.
I also massively don't care. Should we just move on?
I probably took Terrific just because I think I took Terrific at full fault. But I think
I did too. But yeah, it was largely stick a pin in anything that isn't a Chaos Dwarf.
You took those. Yep, we both took those.
Okay, so there we are. Well, great minds think alike, but fools don't disagree.
So first round Sunday.
Yes, and here in Group D again we have the fire and ice combination of myself and Dionysian, casting some fool called Big Kev by some, but known to many, loved by all, as KFoged or Big Car. or KFoged.
Or
Core.
Callful.
And he's, for some reason, brought Dark Elves, despite their record of always failing in Blitz Pit. Facing Yaks.
Besides, the Blitz Pit was all Dwarf and Chaos Dwarf, where they made it to the final, ironically enough.
Core, you're up against Yak Stays Humans.
Yes.
How do you feel about that? You've got to be quite happy, I'd have thought.
The only problem is, again, it's a double Tackle Mighty Blow build. It's the stacking means he got at least one Tackle Mighty Blow, which of course is a problem when everybody you have touch. So if Mighty Blow
you've got a guard
works,
though, haven't you?
Yeah,
you've got a guard. That should help.
And 2 sidestep. If Mighty Blow works and he kills my team, I'm losing. But if that doesn't work, he shouldn't score.
And then the other one, and this again kicks off on the 25th at 11 o'clock UTC, so midday proper time. And the other game, again being cast by the inimitable double act of Jimmy Fantastic and Skurametso, is Calcium Kaz with Wood Elves.
Again, he did qualify with Wood Elves to this.
He did, against Singolo with Chaos Dwarves. Now, I've gone on record before as stating the fact that Calcium Kaz qualified with Wood Elves just shows that Wood Elf is the elf team of choice for the Basher.
Is you saying I'm a Basher?
I'm saying that Wood Elf is the elf team of choice for the Basher.
It's the elf team of choice for anybody that doesn't know how to play elf.
Well, he did very well in the qualifying. I really respected and liked his Wood Elf play. He didn't do a lot wrong. He was perhaps as aggressive almost as you are with them.
Yeah, mine is just weirdly. It's the thing with Wood Elf, in my opinion, is it's knowing when to be aggressive and knowing when not to.
Yeah. And I do think that's something you can pick up by, for example, coaching lots of Chaos, which Calcium has done.
Yeah, he has.
So, for the third time, Wood Elf, it's the elf team of the Basher.
Yeah.
And it is. It's. I mean, I'm joking, but it is about timing what I always call the Banzai moment, the when do you go for it moment. And if you commit, it's the sort of team you have to commit with 100%. Everything you've got has to be focused on that turn where you decide it's now.
Yeah, and then you see when people don't know what to do is then they move everybody and then they picks up the ball and then they freeze up ball with the last player they use, and then nobody can do anything.
Oh, it's horrific. I mean, if you're going to go for it, you need to roll the dice first.
And then if it fails, it just fails, and that's it.
Yeah, it's what I've always called
you need to be able to one-turn.
Yeah, there's turns you should plan, and there's turns you shouldn't, because there's turns that are developing turns, where what you do with the first 2 or 3 pieces will determine what the other 8 need to do afterwards.
But it's hard
and those are the tough ones. That's in Blitz Pit. The time for that, the focus for that is very, very hard to find. But Calcium found it in the qualifiers. I have to say the picking competition has gone quite heavily against Calcium. I haven't picked him to qualify, but I also haven't picked him to be one of the 3 teams with no chance of qualifying. Because I think he's genuinely got a shot.
Yeah, I think actually everybody got a shot in this format. It's max 3 games, and you just need to win 2 of them in a 1-minute turn game, where there's so much variance going on and stuff going on.
Cool, it's very nice of you, but those have expressed a preference, I'm going to say, because I know you won't. Every single one of them has picked you to qualify and picked you to qualify in first place.
I will,
without exception.
I will also be kind of surprised. I will be disappointed if I don't qualify for this combination of coaches and teams. But I think
even if the humans take you out, I mean, I think your knowledge of Wood Elves will count against Calcium if he faces you. Again, I think this is a rough set of teams for the Chaos Dwarves to be facing. Of all of them, they might be the most happiest to be up against the humans. But even then, they're going to have to be really worried about the pace of the humans getting into the hobgoblins. I think Singolo's a very good coach. I think, again, the Chaos Dwarves don't build that brilliantly in this rule set. And I think it's a rough set of games for him.
But he's a banger.
He is a banger.
And if it first starts going, he's going to be really annoying to play against.
And if he can bang the Wood Elves out, and lots of people think he can, then obviously, he's got to get past probably you, and then probably either the Wood Elves again or the humans. And of that, I would probably think it's the humans.
I do have Singolo.
I think I've actually gone for you and Yak here.
You have. And I got Singolo.
And I kind of stand by that. I think Singolo's got a shot, but I think it's still in my heart. I feel you're going to come first with 2 straight wins. And I think Yak's going to go the hard way, lose the first game, And then I think he'll beat both the Wood Elves and the Chaos Dwarves. So we will see, and we will see. That'll be on Sunday at kickoff at 11 o'clock UTC. Me and Dia will be coaching the first game and then the losers bracket game, and Jimmy and Skuro will be taking that all 3 games right through to the final game, leaving us only Group E to have a look at.
Which is we have Star again and Andre.
There's some cracking coaches in this, and then there's one coach that I feel. I mean, I've met him. He's a lovely, lovely person. I'll be honest, I think he's out of his depth here. I think the quality of the competition he's been randomly dropped in against really puts him up against it, and the tipping competition has tended to agree. So here we've got Rick Reckless, the inimitable, wonderful caster that is Rick Reckless, bringing his vocal talent to Andres Kenry versus Store BB's Wood Elves, and that's kickoff on Sunday the 25th at 1500 UTC.
With me, I'm staying for that one.
Are you going in with Rick?
Yeah, I'm taking a bit of Rick. I do like a bit of Rick. Somebody needs to calm him down.
I always feel that Rick he's the one caster I feel never needs anyone beside him. He calls a beautiful game. He fills all the space. Yeah. But to have a true expert like yourself sat next to him is obviously a pleasure for him, I'm sure. Be interesting to see you two casting those. That's the 3-game cast on that particular group.
We've done
and then the other one is
just
the other one will be Dimmy G. And as I'm doing the morning shift with Dionysian, certainly if Eliod wants that one, I'll be letting Eliod do that shift with Dimmy G. And I should just sit back and watch and count myself lucky that there's that much Blood Bowl going on. So Dimmy G is casting Corn Knight with his Kislev against Lark Star's Khemri. How do you see this one falling out?
Khemri and Wood Elf.
Yes, me too. I think Store is a wonderful coach. I think he's a wonderful coach with any race put in front of him. And I think with Wood Elves, I just think he's going to dominate this. I don't see anything there that's going to stop him.
Just the only thing, the asterisk is, I know that Wood Elf Khemri is not as nice as it looks on paper. Because of the stacking. We're back to the whole stacking issue. Yeah.
So there'll be a Mighty Blow tackle Blitz for sure.
One. There will at least be one Mighty Blow with tackle, which is potentially a problem if the first start rolling.
But you're not going to see Tomb Guardians with block and Mighty Blow, surely. There are going to be some guard ones, and there might be some block ones. But, I mean, I haven't looked at the builds. I'd be surprised if he's facing more than one Mighty Blow Blitzer. And I think Store's good enough to marginalise that or bang it out himself. So.
But it's the thing is, like humans, the problem is it's combined with his Your Hands ball carrier.
Yeah.
Who did you have Store and Larkstar?
I do. And it's simply because I think Larkstar is going to beat Corn Knight.
I do actually have Store and Larkstar as well.
And then it's a toss-up for me. I think Andre's a very good coach. I've played him, and he impressed me. I think he's very good. But I think he's going to start with a loss where Larkstar starts with a win, and that, of course, means I slightly favour Larkstar. It was simply that. That was the only reason I picked him.
I'm a little bit, because Andre also have a little bit of known for having a bit of a temper issue.
Right.
Which Blitz Pit is not particularly useful to.
No. Okay.
He's been some interesting cup games over the speed as well. He can be really, really good, but he can also seemingly fall a little bit apart.
I trust you on that, Core. I mean, I've played him once and he was an absolute gentleman, but the BB2 seemed better than I.
It's not even like it's not personal like in being insulting. It's more like a dice rates issue.
And if there's one thing that can cause dice rage, it's the speed of Blitz Pit and Wood Elves coming at you. So if the Wood Elves get quite lucky there, you think he might carry that mood through into the later games?
Yeah, I could see. I got him as not qualifying. I've seen him going 2-2.
Mm-hmm. Now, I do think Corn Knight's a lovely chap. I've met him in the human flesh in a real world situation back when. Do you remember when people were allowed to meet other people? I met him at a tournament. He's a lovely guy. I was very impressed with his coaching then. I think he's a decent coach. I'll be honest, I do worry he's out of his depth here. I mean, I hope to be surprised, but he's picked a race I don't think is that brilliant for a Blitz pit. It's, as we said with Rick, Kislev in a minute is going to be very tricky both to coach but also to face. And I think, again, if you were picking what you wanted as Kislev, I don't think Kemri would be high on your list.
No. No.
Because again, they've got that banging player to smash up your catchers if you've got catchers, and they're going to have a sure hands player, which makes the leap in and take just that little bit harder. And they've probably got a lot of guard to sit around the ball as well. So it could be a very, very brutal evening for Corn Knight, unfortunately. And certainly the tipping competition has agreed, and he is one of the three people that everyone seems to think has zero chance of qualifying. So good luck to him. I mean, I hope he can prove us wrong. In Blitzpit, anything can happen. After all, a complete idiot can come brand new to it and win their very first time out. That has happened.
But that was what my point was in the picking competition as well, because it's literally you just need to win 2 out of 3 games, and it's 1 minute's turn. That's so much. Like, I will not be surprised if anybody wins anything.
Yeah, and I'm totally with CJ Blackburn there that it's about who makes the least mistakes, and that absolutely, it's a whole different pressure that lots of people are just not used to. Of course, almost all of these guys have either qualified to be there or have experience in another Blitz pit. So yeah, that's going to be fascinating, and I think it's going to be a feast of a weekend of Blood Bowl.